So we're going to talk about executive compensation. And there's a lot of colorful ways to compensate senior executives. Of course, the first is the one you always think about. That's their base salary that they get monthly or bi-monthly. Of course, there's cash incentives like bonuses for good performance. But a lot of their stuff, a lot of their compensation actually comes from other sources. Of course, there's things like stock options, the right to sell stock at a given price. So if the the right to buy and or sell stocks at a certain price. So for example, if the price of a stock goes above a certain level, let's say you have a stock option of your favorite company at $50 a share, and the stock price goes up to $75, then you can buy shares of that company at $50 and then sell it immediately for a $25 profit. That's a stock option, the right to exercise the buying of a stock at a given price. There's also performance shares. And performance shares and restricted stock are quite similar ideas, but basically the firm has to reach a certain level in a stock price in order for an executive to be able to have access to those shares. Of course, they can get great, generous retirement plans, and of course, perks are the ones that we typically see in the media. Things like use of a company jet, a down payment on a house in a new location, private school for the kids, free dry cleaning, a chauffeur, all that kind of stuff. So that's where most of their compensation comes from: the stock incentives, the retirement plans, and the perks. Now, the problems with CEO compensation is frequently the amount of stock options that are given to a CEO can be extraordinary. It can overinflate their compensation. And sometimes they're given very generous compensation plans even if they don't deserve them. Even if the performance is bad, they still get very hefty compensation. Of course, CEOs that are fired typically get a golden handshake, so that's a significantly large severance package, which seems unfair. And of course, there's also a bias that when the CEO is the chairman of the board of directors, they can also unduly influence the compensation committee on the board of directors. So a big thing with CEO compensation is frequently that it does not necessarily match share price, and therefore the CEOs are basically not incentivized to act in the best interest of owners. There's also a lot of issues with misuse of stock grants and stock options, backdating, and all this other kind of creative accounting and financial practices that basically result on fraud, but are a way for a CEO to maximize their ability and the profits that they make when they exercise stock options. And of course, even worse is the fact that CEOs are paid so much money in proportion to the average worker. You think about even a CEO of a small firm, they may make hundreds of times that of an entry-level worker. So I've given you a very, very brief overview of corporate governance. Of course, again, this is a massive subject, but at least you've gotten a little bit of a taste. And I am hoping you enjoyed this module, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.